doing okay. I got a new setup. Hopefully this will work. I need to mute a camera over there. It is muted, but I can still hear it. So hopefully y'all can hear me. Let me know if there's an echo or something. So today we're doing a special show. We're going to do a repair. So hopefully, I'm going to check my headphones real quick. Hello everybody. Welcome. Alright. I'm hearing an echo over there and it is bothering me. So I'm going to turn that off right now and get from studio. Okay. So that should be better. So, alright, so today we have, we are doing a repair, and that is, I got two to do. I'm probably just going to cover this one, but we're going to go over how to diagnose it, how to fix it, you know, different things. And it all stems from, and let me see if I can pull this up. Let me share a screen here. Chrome tab and share. And so I got a comment, and it was, I gave my retainer, this is from, I gave my retainer to a dental laboratory to fix it for me, but what they have done did not fit well. They claim they did their job right, but it doesn't make any sense while it doesn't fit well. I visited an orthodontist, and she said, I do not recommend any of my patients repair a broken retainer, and the only solution I recommend is to make a new cast and retainer. What should I do? And so that is, oh, there it is. That is what we're covering today. So there's a lot of issues that go into repairing, a lot of things, a lot of diagnosing that. So let's do this. Okay, so, oh, hello from Brazil. Hello, Luciano. Nice to see you. Everybody in the comments, put where you're from. I like to say hello to you. So down below, say hello. I do have my usual camera set up here, and I have a special camera that I will switch to when I need to set up another camera. So we will. Oh, that is not it. So let's remove that. Switch over to here. So today, this is what we're working on. I got this back from a dentist, an orthodontist, and he said patient would like the retainer to be refit to current model. So one thing I was going to do was pull up the old script and the old file, but in this case my live stream started too soon, so I couldn't do that. But anyway, we have one extra camera that I want to show y'all, and let me do that here. And that is the duck cam. Hey, it actually was working. I don't know if you can even see the ducks in there. Oh, there they are. So if y'all don't know, my wife raises ducks. So I did a nice little swimming pool for them out by the window right there to see if they'll frolic and swim and stuff like that, but I couldn't get them out of the creek. So I put the camera out there where the creek is, and I couldn't get them out of that creek. So I have the camera out there at the creek, and I'll switch over to that whenever I need to. So until then, let's start with this. Okay. So I got this back, and yeah, it does not fit. And so there's when you diagnose something like this, it's real good to go ahead and pick the air bubbles off the model that they give you. Hopefully they give you a new model. There are other, they may give you a scan, they may give you other things, but if they give you a new model, that changes the game. Now, if they have the original model that the retainer was made on, that's a bonus, because then you know it fits 100%, because the retainer was made on that model. But if you if you don't have that and they give you a brand new model, then you can see kind of what went wrong. And I'm kind of thinking this lateral shifted over. So one thing to think about is, A, did the patient wear this retainer? And they may not have. B, it could be me, because this could have been made. This comes from a doctor. He's an awesome doctor, and I got really far behind on him. As if you work in a lab, you know, you get behind sometimes. But I got like a month behind on him, and it's not good when you're working with models like this, especially. This is called a phase 1 retainer, or a pediatric Holly, or a pedo Holly. And what it's for is mixed dentition. So what happens is the patient comes in and they're showing signs of malocclusion or something like that, and so they they usually have these 4 teeth here that are adult teeth, and then they have their 6-year molars, or their first molars, and that is pretty much all they have, and the rest are baby teeth. Now this is a 4, this is a C, or a upper left C, which is baby tooth canine. And so what the doctor will do is they'll either put a device or put them in braces and fix a bite, and then take everything out and just let the natural growth of the body as they grow older and their face elongates and things like that. They'll then take the braces off, let everything flow naturally or grow naturally, and then we as a lab will make a retainer. And usually is one of these. It's a 2-to-2 labial bow to hold the front anterior teeth, and then Adam's clasp on the 6s, and that's usually a standard that we do. So if I look at this, I can see that this lateral has shifted over. So I'm thinking either and it doesn't look like they wore it. So one of two things. This is back whenever I was running late and I got it to them too late, and too much changed in here. So when they take the braces off, teeth start shifting immediately. So, or the patient just didn't wear it, so teeth started shifting. So we're going to retrofit this on here. And so in this case, we're going to replace the acrylic. So I'm going to strip out the wires, and I'm going to reuse as many as the metal clasp as possible. And then we'll take it from there. We'll redo the acrylic. Probably won't trim it on here, but mainly this is about repairing. Once you get it to the acrylic stage, it's pretty much the same thing. 2 requires 1, do a video of the duct setup. Do a video about your cam. I'll do that. I do have a video coming up talking about my let me show you what I'm talking about. Talking about my new lab that I built here. So I have a video of that coming up. It's just taking a while to do. Thanks for your comment. I appreciate that. But yeah, the setup is pretty basic. I'm using a different setup so I can use this audio mic, which last time it was kind of echoey. Didn't like it. So soon I'll be doing a new audio, and it'll sound a lot better. And I can use my other setup, which I like better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and prep the model and get it ready to go. Let me switch my cameras here, and let me prep this. Let's get a burr in here. Let's see what burr I want to use. How about a round? I call these half round burrs. I don't know why. That's just what I was taught. And turn on my stuff here. I'm going to prep for the Adams clasp. So when you get these in, sometimes they're not going to fit the model because the clasps have been adjusted by the doctor. Sorry about the blowing of the air, but so let's see if we can get this to fit a little bit more. Now we're going to have a hard time fitting this because of this lateral has shifted on me. And also you can see right here, hopefully you can see that right there, that tooth has grown in. So that means they lost this tooth. They lost the baby tooth, and this one started growing in. Now, if they wore this correctly, or if I turned it in time, uh, the gap, the placeholder right here would have guided the new tooth to grow in. So as it sits, it's actually coming in under the retainer. So if I hold it like this, you can see it. So we still have baby tooth. So that one actually, if it went all the way down, you could tell that it fits really well by that tooth. And of course, all the baby teeth that were present when we made this retainer the first time are there. Also, this side's good. It's mainly this side. This lateral has drifted. So you can see where this crosses over is right on top of that lateral. And of course, this one erupted, and since they weren't wearing this, it came in under the acrylic. Now, what the doctor could do is trim this some more, and let's try that out. I'm going to remove this acrylic anyway, but I can show you some things that the doctor can do chair side to fix this. So I'm going to just adjust this acrylic and do a little bit more. So now you can see it fits just a little bit better. You can see it actually comes up a little bit, but this is still the problem. Alright. Oh, yeah, hello from India. I just watched some videos on somebody doing a dough method from India, so that was pretty cool. Alright, so what are we going to do? We are going to strip the acrylic off of this without damaging the wires. Like I said, I want to reuse the wires. So with that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over to my trimming box, and I'm going to show you how I do this. And until that time, here is the duck cam, and I'll be right back. Hopefully this doesn't bother me too much. Okay. So I have that pulled up. Hopefully there's not too bad of an echo. So there's L. We got some in there. And here's the trimming box. Alright. So let's go and fix this. I apologize everyone that the volume for some reason is echoey. I apologize if it is. Let me turn on echo cancellation real quick, and then maybe that'll help get rid of that. Okay, so yeah, I messed that up. Okay, so I'm back on the screen. Sorry, I gotta keep going back and forth. I am not back on the screen. Add to stream. Let's go back. 8 of them ducks. I think there's a total of 12 ducks, 12 or 14 ducks. So yeah, it's we have those black ones are called cayuga ducks, and the brownish white ones are called buff ducks, and then the tiny ones are called call ducks, or miniature ducks. You can see them up in the corner. So let's go to the trimming box. So I'm sorry for any echo, but what I use to trim this down is this this burr right here. Hopefully y'all can see that. This is a stainless steel bristle brush burr, and let's see if I can find a box for you to look at. Actually, I'll just get a brand new one here. It's by Ortho, and I call them stainless steel bristle brushes. Here they are, brand new. And what this does is it removes the acrylic, but it doesn't hurt the it doesn't hurt the wires at all. So I'm going to turn on my suction real quick. Especially if this was a retainer that someone used, it's going to stink, so you want suction. You want to disinfect this before you get started, which I didn't show you that process. But you can see how this just absolutely removes this acrylic. If you're wondering what this gap is right here, I've removed the name. So I usually put the name in the retainer. It's the state law here in Texas, in the United States. I don't know about other states or countries, but you have the acrylic and you have the wires. So I put the wires back on here. And of course, I do need to make a few adjustments on here, but I will see you back at the trimming station. No, I was at the trimming station. What am I saying? Okay. Okay, here we are. Trim box audio mic too far away. Yeah, sorry about that. Hello, greetings from Puebla. Hand pink waving. I don't know what that means. Oh, that's probably an icon. It didn't show up. Yeah, the trim box is too far away. So sorry. If in case y'all were wondering. Oh, there's Carla. Then we go remove that trimming box. It's causing an echo, and then hopefully that will be better. So we are back to here. That's not what I wanted. Here we go. All right. So now we're back. We have the wires. The acrylic has been stripped off. So now we need to do a little bit of adjusting of the wires to fit the new model. And while we're doing that, actually I want to set up the. I'm going to wax a little bit, get this ready for acrylic. So when we're ready to do acrylic. We can do that. I'm going to wax between this gap here. I don't want acrylic going in there. Most likely what the doctor's going to do is take that labial bow and try to tease that lateral back together with the other one. So I need to adjust that loop over there. And so let me put a little wax. Sometimes these are case pan numbers right here. If you ever see a number on here, and it helps us find the cases. So we have a case here. This is what came from the doctor, and it has a case pan number. So that's how we keep up with models in the lab. If we get a bunch of the same models, so I have another one here that has the same pink model, but if we didn't, and I trimmed off the name on the back just to give it a better trim, but if it didn't have that number, I wouldn't know which pan that went in. You never know which goes with which. So got that ready. I'm going to paint my separator on. Feel like a Bob Ross here, painting, make happy little mistakes or whatever it is he says. So I usually put 2 coats. So I'm going to go ahead and put 1 coat, and then while I'm bending the wires, that first coat is going to dry, and then I'll put the second coat on. So let's start with the labial bow, because that's the main thing that's going to give us problems. Now this right here looks pretty good. Actually, let's see if I can zoom in just a bit. There we go. Right here looks pretty good. So that was the original bend, because that tooth is still there and that tooth is still there. So this one doesn't need much work. So I'm going to keep that as my my normal, my control, I guess you could say, and then I'm going to try to bend this other one. So now you can see where it's hitting. It's hitting almost right in the middle of that lateral. Mr. Mech, what wax you got there? What's the blue instrument? Kind of a modified wax knife, blue handle. Yeah, so this is a, it's actually made for dentures, and if you've ever done dentures, you did post-palatal seal. This carves the post-palatal seal on here. But I also like to use it for picking bubbles. And if you go to JBC and Company and look under knives, you'll see this. It's called Genius.net. No, cgenius.net. Hopefully I'm reading that right. Is where you can get these also. cgenius.net. So it's a great little bubble picker for me, and you know, shaving teeth and stuff like that. The wax is this pink wax. Just again, like if you've ever messed with dentures, it's the same base plate, pink wax. And I fold it up, put it in here, and then I melt it. I have a coffee warmer over here that I put my coffee on in the morning, but it also melts my wax. And I have a sticky wax here that does the same thing. I put it on that to wax. So good question, yeah. Alright, so back to this, where you can see where that wire is hitting on that lateral. So a real quick fix, and again, I usually don't make mine that close, so I can tell that he has tightened this up, the doctor has. I'm just going to grab it here, and I'm just going to pull this out. Let's see what that does. Oh yeah, we were very close. Now what I want to do is I want to get this down lower on the tooth, so so it fits the mouth, and then when the doctor gets it and he adjusts it, he can actually squeeze this and it will squeeze that over. So I think we're pretty close now. The labial bow is crooked right there, so let's see if we can bend this here. What I'm mainly doing is just going to bend this over a bit. Let's do some 3 prongs. I have to bend this out because I've curved that down a little bit. So it's going to dig into, there we go, we bent that out. That is kind of straight. I'm going to actually widen this loop a little bit. It's going to need a lot of activation anyway, so if I widen it, it's going to just help bringing that tooth back around. There we go. So now I've almost gone too far, but let me tuck this in. It's touching there, but not there. So I'm just going to bend it over just a bit, like that, like that. There we go. Now I'm going to tuck this in, contour it in a bit. There we go. I like that. So now it's just flared up. I got that even. Sorry, my model holder's squeaking a bit. I'm going to mark it pretty much where I want it to cross over the lateral. Let me see if I can bend this over a little bit more. So I'm going to grab that right above that mark and roll my wire down. There we go. I like that a little bit better. I'm going to flatten this so it doesn't pop out of the acrylic too much when you do the acrylic. There we go. Alright. You can see the difference between these two sides now. There we go. I think I can live with that. Some of this adjustment I can do after the acrylic is on. Alright. What else do I want to do? I got my other 3 prongs here. Bend those up. Alright, so this is dry now, the separator. So I'm going to add a few more drops. This is my second coat of separator and paint that to smooth it out. And let's put in. Now these are not fitting well, mainly because they were activated. So I'm going to back off the activation. So this is my view I'm seeing. So it's been activated a lot. So I'm just going to grab it here and pull it out. Grab it here, pull it out. There we go. That's fitting a lot better. I'm just going to contour it a little bit here. So what I pretty much did, so the doctor activates it, gets it to fit better in the mouth, and but what it's doing is it's pulling against the acrylic that's there. So once you remove the acrylic, it's almost folded tighter on itself. So you actually have to undo the activation to get it to fit right. So we got a pretty good fit there. So let's move to the other one. Yeah, there we go. That's actually not bad. So these fit pretty good because the teeth, the original baby teeth, are still here. Now if the 5, what I call the upper right 5, if that would have grown in, I would have had to do a lot more major adaptation, kind of like I did with that lateral up there. So these are both pretty decent. So I'm going to use my sticky wax here and my instrument. See if I can back up a little bit. Here we go. Alright. Sticky wax this down. Sticky wax this down. There we go. Now, make sure my labial bow is where I want it. Sometimes I have to take this off just so I can see it better. I like my labial bow where it's at, so I'm just going to tack it down. It's got a little bend right there, kind of bending it back into the gums. I don't know if I did that or the doctor did. But let's put some in here. Alright, we are ready for acrylic. So I'm going to do the acrylic right here. Let me back this up a little bit. Let me get a paper towel. Usually I do it in my fume box, but I think I can withstand the fumes just for a few minutes while I sprinkle this. And oh, this got dirty quick. Look at all that from prepping it. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm just going to put a paper towel down. What gauge wires are you using? Here seems like the same gauge for Adams and labial bow. It's really, really close. Now I don't know the gauge, but the Adams are made out of 028 wire, which is in inches, is what we use here. And then the labial bow is 030, so it's only 2/10 of an inch, 2/100 of an inch difference between the two. So I usually use 030 for the labial bow, 028. So you might have to find out what the gauge is. I can never remember. I think it's like 7 or 8 or something like that, gauge-wise. All right, let's bring up the ducks while I get this set up. All right, where's my paper towels? Where are you at? There you are. All right, paper towels. Just so that I don't get... All right. What are those ducks doing? They're just, man, they just love the water. Yeah, they just love the water. Alright, so this is banana yellow. I'm not the duck camera. Get that off of there. So I'm going to look back here for my banana yellow. There we go, right there. So, this is my banana yellow. I don't know if that's reversed or not, but So I'm going to grab my monomer here, and I'm just using regular crystal clear monomer. And I need some tools. I'm not in my usual spot, so all my tools are over here. Pull these out. Oh, this is going to smell bad. Get this thing off of me. There we go. So one thing I do, and I think I did it on the last live stream, was tell you how I do my acrylic. And I like to wet it. So I use the salt and pepper method. I got some schmutz on there. I use the salt and pepper method for my acrylic. So I'm just going to lay some acrylic down. I usually start with clear, and then what that helps do is it helps me see the wire from the tissue side. So if you flip it over, you can see it, especially if you use an opaque color like this. When you flip over you don't know how far to trim, pretty much. So I'm going to put the new name in here. Okay, if I can grab it, there we go. And I usually like to put it on the tissue side. Now flip it over so that when you read the retainer, you can see it from the other side. And then I'll back it with some of this yellow acrylic. I like it when I get to use these unique colors like this. It's probably one of my favorite things about Ortho. What's y'all's favorite thing in doing acrylic? Do y'all like the different colors? Do y'all like the design? Somehow my favorite is clear with glitter. Yeah, that's a good point. The glitter just really pops on these retainers. So I'm going to zoom in just a bit so you can see what I'm doing here. One thing, I use these needle tips, and they sometimes make kind of a big droplet, so sometimes I'll do this to help prevent the colors from separating. I think in Europe they cannot use colored monomer or colored polymer. I can't remember. This is colored polymer, and I'm just using clear monomer. I'm putting a layer of clear on top, kind of like a clear coat on a car. Most of this will get trimmed off, but to me this fills in any ripples or any shallow areas. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Put a layer of clear. I'm going to wet that with monomer. And then I'll start in on my banana yellow polymer. And usually I do about 2 to 3 layers. What I try to do is cover the wires. When I can't see the wires anymore, that I know I've pretty much gotten it as thick as I want. And then I'm going to just do a little bit of a dusting. And you know how you can control the powder here. There we go. Alright. Now I gotta watch this other side, see how it's getting wet on me? It's about to start slumping, so I'm gonna freeze it with some powder to prevent the slumping. Oh, I hear the garbage truck, which means my cats are freaking out right about now. Kind of makes me wonder if it's got the ducks' attention. Let's see, they're pretty far away from them. Oh yeah, nah, not bothering them at all. Okay. So now I'm looking and I'm trying to see the contour. You know, is it pretty smooth? Is there any deep areas, any gouges in there? Gouges, I don't know if that's the right word. You know, my southern accent. No telling what word I'm supposed to use. But this is almost ready to cut. I usually like to wait a little bit. If I had another one to sprinkle, I would start that sprinkling process. This really helps me in the winter. When your monomer is cold, it takes longer to set up, and so what happens is it starts slumping easier and faster. And in the summertime, it's opposite. Oh, see, I'm monologue. You caught me monologuing. I just put a little. See, it started to when it gets real shiny like that. I put a little bit of polymer on it to like freeze it to keep it from setting up. But you have about 10 minutes. In the winter, you have longer. In the summer, you have shorter time. So if you're in summertime, wherever you're at right now, if you'll take your monomer, you can put it in the fridge. I do this for splints because splints I need a lot more working time. I'll put the monomer in the fridge, cool it down, and that way it gives you a little bit more working time. So let's get this cut and ready to put in the pressure pot. So I'm going to start here. I usually like to cut these. You don't have to cut them. You can just put them in there like this, but I like to do this, and it's two reasons. One is less trimming when the acrylic cures, and two, it gives my knife a little bit of a purchase to be able to get it off. Okay. There we go. We can clean it up a little bit. Some people like to scrape it off the teeth. I'm not too worried about that. And off into the pressure pot it goes. And while I do that, take a look at some ducks. Okay, so let me clean up my little area here, and bring in my next case. And this is a different kind of repair, so let me bring this up. The solder for applying is a good idea. I never thought of that still warm over the flame here. Gonna start using the solder gun. Oh yeah, the solder gun. This is definitely. Let me pull this up. So I got this from JBC and Company. You can actually find these on Amazon. Don't think I have a good view of this. It's outside all my cameras. Yeah, it's not gonna show up. Yep, I just run out of camera and I can't move the camera. But anyway, I think down below I have in the description below I have a link to my Amazon page. But if you go to JBC and Company, you should be able to find it there. And get it there. Now, one thing that she does different is she creates this tip herself, and I'm not on the right camera. Let me get back to here. All right, so she creates this tip herself. The tip that comes with it doesn't work very good. Let's see if I can dig it out here. But she creates her own tip, and it makes kind of a spoon in here. If you can see that. That's focus. Anyway, yeah, and so you can really spoon out some stuff, and you can set the temperature too. So yeah, it comes with a little holder. This is what my holder looks like, and it looks grody, but you can kind of see what it looks like. I got too many cables. So it comes with like a little holder to hold it, and it stays temperature, and you can set the temperature. I have it on like 210 degrees Fahrenheit right now. Now, open flame does have its own advantages too. I still like to use open flame, and when I do that, I just break out my little torch here and use that. It has a little stand, so I like to use that for doing my wax. Let's see if JBC has. Let's see if I can find a good picture of it. There we go. Let me share my screen. And present, share screen. I'm trying to use this on the same web browser, so Chrome tab. Where are we at? Here we go. So this is the waxing station that I use. So if you're interested, this is again jbc.com. Here is the web browser is just jbcandcompany.com. And so I ordered that from her, and she makes a specialized tip for these that work well for what we do. Alright, so the next one. So this is another one we got. Actually, this is the second time this labial bow is broken and crosses, as it crosses behind the lower right 3. Any thoughts on a different design to minimize the chance of breakage? So this is kind of a difficult one because I've already fixed it once, obviously. So I made the first one, it broke, and so then I had to make a second one because it broke in the same spot. So something's going on. So I'm going. The good thing is this doctor sent an upper, so we can kind of see what's going on. So what we're gonna do, we will put these together. So I'm gonna make sure trim these so that I use my little blue handled knife here to pick my bubbles. There we go. Right now I'm just picking the occlusal, I can't even say that word, occlusion bubbles. Bubbles on the occlusion, that's better. That way they occlude together better. Now this tooth is already broken, right here, this anterior tooth. It was broken when we got it, unless this is it. No, I don't see it. It might be in here somewhere. Sometimes, oh, I think I see it. Sometimes it's like putting a puzzle piece together. So this was shipped to us, and if it's not wrapped very well, or if the retainer's on here and the retainer doesn't fit very well, the retainer will actually break the tooth off. So if you're shipping these, try to ship these separate, because what probably happened was this was on here and it broke that tooth off, or it had a rubber band around it. So I'm going to leave this off for right now, and I'll glue it on in a second. But what I really want to see is how this occludes together right here. So I'm just kind of trying to find where it occludes. So this right here is where the labial bow goes here, and it goes up here, and it goes into here. So it's kind of, I think I have enough room in there for a wire. So either I need to go step down the wire size or beef up the wire size where it can handle it. But I got a pretty good triangle right there. So if I put this on here, you can see exactly where this broke, right as it crosses. So actually not even at the peak of it. So not even at the peak of it, it's right past it is where it broke. Now what I can do is I can probably laser weld this, and that might be what happened last time, is I just laser welded it, but it's got some other things going on. First off, it's really activated, so I'm going to unactivate that. I don't even know what to call that. Unactivate. Pull this out. There we go. So what I'm trying to do is trying to get this together. Okay. Let's put it back on the model. Again, you got to look for air bubbles. It looks like they have been wearing this because it fits this model really well. So if they've been wearing it, the model, the impression they take of the mouth should mimic the inside of this retainer. So one thing's pointing out at me, and it's a good lesson to learn in wire bending. So when you're bending the labial bow, where it crosses distal to the 3s or distal to the canines, you want it to tuck in there really nice. Let's see if I can just zoom in just a little bit more here. So you want it to cross the occlusion. You can see that one crosses the occlusion really nice right there. So when they go to bite down, it passes through that little window. You can see where this tooth and this tooth touch each other. Let me tilt that up some. Where this tooth and this tooth, they touch each other, but it's not touching that. Now if I swing this around, I don't think I bent that very well into its place. So if I try to connect that, if we pull this off, it looks like I didn't get this in there very good, or it's riding on that canine. So that might be the problem, because it broke right at that joint, right where after it crosses, and you can see a little bit of space right there. You don't see much of a space on this side, so you see a little space. So I think I could have come. The current wire is kind of crossing here, and where I should bend it should cross right there, and I think it just put too much pressure on there. So what I'm going to do, we're running out of time. I don't think I'll repair this all the way, but let me strip it down again. I'm going to strip it down here at the desk instead of the trimming box, since my camera on the trimming box is back feeding audio to me that I can't turn off. So let me go get that special burr. Again, these are called Ortho bristle brushes. Just check your local dental supply company. Let me turn this around. I call them stainless steel bristle brushes. And they have brass ones too, but they're almost too soft. So this is going to hurt me a little bit. But I want to get this labial bow out of here. And let's see if I can get this. I am going to turn a fan on me. Sorry about the air. Wish I could do this in the trimming box. So I'm just tracing that wire there. Now what I'm following right now, that is the rest. So this is what I call a continuous rest, meaning it runs front to back, or it runs from 6 to 6, or molar to molar. So I almost got this out of here. Yep, there we go. Alright, got that out. Now it looks like I can scavenge. Sometimes there's no use getting this other part out, but if you want to be thorough, because pretty much I just got to re-bend the labial bow, which means I got to take this acrylic off. But when they send the retainer back, that helps out a lot. Sorry, this stuff's going in my mouth. I need to wear a mask. This black is bold. Yeah, it's pretty bold. I think this is my acrylic black, which is surprising that I don't have a name in there, which makes me think maybe I didn't make this retainer. I'll have to check my storage prescriptions. So this is, looks like after activation, the leg came forward, casting it to come into the occlusion area. Not sure. I would agree with you that 100%. that is what that would be. Is the leg, it activated and that leg came forward, which put it right into there. So when I bend the new one, I'm going to have to just make sure that it stays clear. That activation can be done maybe up here on the loop and pull it this way instead of pulling this arm that way. But what I was saying is I can reuse this, which is good. So I'm going to keep that to the side. And then, yeah, like you were saying, it activated and moved this forward. So something happened under the acrylic that allowed it to move. So the acrylic should be here, should hold it in place. So your acrylic should be up here. You can also check, once you get that stripped off, you can check this back and you can see how well this is fitting, how well they wore their retainer. So let's glue this back on. This is part of the repair process. You'll get some broken teeth. And what I like to use is this, it's called fillet. It's like a dental lab super glue, made for dental labs. And I'll just put a little bit on there. And the good thing is this thing doesn't set up until you spray it with the activator. So I'll just put that tooth in place. And then I'll grab my activator over here. Oh, I took my tip off. Get back here. So this is called fillet activator. Let me so fillet activator. So this stuff is fillet. Now the label always comes off on me, but that's what I like to use. I use it all the time for gluing things back together. It works on plastic and metal and plaster. Okay, so we are running toward the end. I'll try to only do this for an hour. I may continue to record. I'll post this. So pretty much, okay, let me finish this up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to prep this model. I'm going to get it ready for acrylic. I'm going to sticky wax the rest back on, and then I'll bend a new labial bow at the on here, and then just run it through like a regular retainer. So that's what we'll do. That's what it is. Just run it through like a regular retainer. So what you do at the prep bench, what you do at the wire bending, helps run it through. So now let's end by taking that one out of the pressure pot real quick. I had to put it in the water for a little bit. And I've lost my duck cam. I have no idea. Let me go check that real quick. It's still out there. It must have gone to sleep or something. Sorry, I don't have a duck cam to show you. I'll try to come up with a better system on that. This is a little bit on the wet side, but well, finger's wet, so my mouse doesn't work. So I've pulled this out. I have my favorite knife to use, which is a 7R or something like that knife. And I'm going to scrape off my sticky wax before it cools and hardens back up again. And you see, when I go to separate it, see that ledge I created? Now I can just tease it off, and it just comes off. You can probably take it off with your hand, just pulling it off. But there we go. We have a finished retainer, and then it just gets finished like a normal retainer. So I have lots of videos on that. You can go check that out on my channel. I just use super glue. Yeah. You can use super glue. Now, if you're soldering, have you ever soldered and then burnt that super glue and it just gasses you out. This doesn't do that as much. It does a little bit, but not near as much as super glue. But I also like the working time. So super glue, you set it and you only got a little bit of time before it sets up. This one, you put it on there and you don't have to worry about setting up until you spray it with the activator. But as you can see, it's completely set up. But yeah, you can use super glue. I know a lot of people use super glue to set the bands in the models. So, but then you go to solder the model if you're using a flame, and it burn that super glue, it'll gas you out. So yeah, that's why this is different. I like using this. It's more expensive, obviously. You can't find it at a normal store down the street. You got to order it from a dental supply company. What it was originally created was, look for my Zap It video in my channel feed somewhere. It's a different brand, but it does the same thing. It's called Zap It, and it's activated cyanoacrylate, so it's related to super glue, but it doesn't set up until you spray it. And it was mainly used for the dental lab. They can glue crowns together to make bridges, and then they spray it and activate it and hold it in place, and then they can cast. So it'll glue wax together and they'll invest it and everything, and then they cast it and it burns out cleanly. So that's why it won't bother you. Now, you cannot use this anywhere near thermoform retainers, the suck downs. If this is wet on your model, it'll flash and turn your clear aligner or clear retainer, it'll turn it yellow. So, oh, thank you for wire bending. Thank you for your work. The videos really helps out. Keep doing it. Thanks for the tips. The duck video, though. Do the duck video. I will. It's mainly just an extra cell phone camera out there connected to my StreamYard that I have here. So I appreciate that. And let me get my outro video ready to go. And I'm going to sign off till next week. Keep an eye out. I'll see if I can keep recording. And I'll put that up on my Patreon or maybe the members area. I haven't set that up on my channel yet. But look for the members area to be set up, and I'll do like extra hour or so and put that up on my Patreon and my members area. And my website, designerretainer.com. So keep that in mind. And I will see y'all next time. Thanks for hanging out. Put any questions you have if you're watching this later. Put them in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. So hopefully this helped you out, and I will see y'all next week.